Well, we've got a lot to do today. Let's get started. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this installment of Mike's Vehicle Vlogs. I want to thank you all for joining me today. It is still pretty early. It is around 8 a.m. on November 8th, 2020. And I'm out here kind of cold right now, but it's supposed to warm up today, and it's a good thing because we have a lot to do because I messed up somewhere. I will be getting to that here in a little bit. However, I do want to update you guys on a couple of other things with the 2003 Pontiac Grand Am GT. While I was taking care of this cat issue, I also had the, computer scanned because the service engine light came back on. It was about 25 miles after driving the car. The service engine light came on, which I was expecting it for it to come on, and it pulled out a code for the EGR valve, as the previous owner did say there was a code for the EGR valve, and the I think input speed sensor, which is weird. So I think it said input speed sensor low frequency or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it is. All of the codes after what we're going to do today are going to go away, but I know they'll be back because we're not making repairs to those specific systems. So when that code regenerates, once I actually get the... I don't remember what the exact code number is, but that'll give me something to look into. Whether I fix it or not, I don't know. The speedometer seems to work just fine. So, yeah. I don't know. The EGR valve, on the other hand, I don't have a new EGR valve. We're not putting one on today. But I don't know. That may have something to do with the fuel economy also. The one guy at work who did the scanning said that the EGR is probably what killed the catalytic converter. Could be. I don't know. But if there was a problem with the EGR valve and it went long enough without being fixed or resolved, then maybe it does have something to do with the cat being plugged up. So that's okay, because right now we don't have the cat in it, and I don't know, I'm okay with it for now. But I just want to let you guys know that there will be a catalytic put back on at some point in the future. We're not going to leave it without a cat, even though it sounds really good, but we're not going to leave it without a cat. So there's that topic for you. The next thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the very first oil change. Now, I did perform the first oil change on this engine since it has been rebuilt and running, and I told you guys I was going to take you along. I did it at work before I left for the day one day after everything else was done, and I had all my stuff cleaned up. I went ahead and did the oil change on this, and I did take footage of the phone. So this is what the very first oil change looks like. It only had about 200 miles on the oil, so I'd only driven this thing for 200 miles, and let me show you guys what came out of it. 194.4 miles in, oil change. Alright, first oil change after the head gasket and intake gasket job. I had it running for a little bit. Let's see what it looks like. It's almost got the clarity. rest of it really ain't too bad. Minus the, you know, rockers, the pinch welds. Not too terrible. There shouldn't be any chunks. At least I hope not. Yeah, it almost looks like good oil now. So hopefully that flushed out a majority of contaminants from the bottom of the engine that we couldn't get to. Cool. So there you have it. That's our first oil change. And so far I have about almost 200 miles on that oil there, also the new oil. So we are going to probably be dumping the oil out of it again real soon. Probably, especially after what I have to do this morning. So what happened was, last week I was going to take the car out, and I started backing away from the spot that it was parked in, and I noticed an oil spot underneath. And I get out of the car, I look underneath, and sure enough, I see oil all over the side of the cradle, you know, and it's apparent to me that it's oil, it's nothing else. So I open the hood, and I see a little bit of oil splatter on the hood, on the firewall, on the side of the fender, behind the fender. My first assumption is it's maybe the crank seal. So I did take it to work again, and after hours I put it up on the lift, and I took the side panel off, and I'm looking, and it didn't really appear that it was coming from the crank seal, because the oil was starting up on top also. It was soaked on the top, above it. And I took a light, and I'm kind of tracing around, and at first I thought the heads were leaking, because the oil is dripping off around the head bolt on the corner and so forth underneath. So I'm freaking out. I know these heads are good. I know they seated fine. I know I properly torqued the bolts down. And then I started wondering, there's no way that that would be leaking there like that, especially oil, because there's no oil pressure in the heads like that. It's the only place where the oil could leak from is up toward like the very top of the head, near the valley of the engine where the oil runoff drains are. So I started looking up a little further, and it's along the top of the valley also. So that leads me to believe that I did not put enough RTV sealant on the flat spots where the lower intake meets the block. And that is what I have to correct today. I'm not looking forward to doing this. This thing is running good otherwise. I haven't lost any coolant. I haven't lost or had any obvious signs of contaminated oil other than what's being flushed out. There's really nothing new showing up. So for me to have to tear this apart again, because somewhere down there I made a mistake, and I don't know if I just didn't put enough on, or I didn't cover exactly one side to another all the way. Who knows? I mean, it's RTV'd. They only give you that little tiny tube when you get the gasket kit, but I'm not using that stuff today. I got something better. So, I don't know. It is what it is. I was thinking maybe in time it could seal itself up, but at the same time, I'm leaving some pretty big spots in the driveway now. So, I think we're going to do the correct thing, and we're going to properly fix this issue. I'm not going to document this whole process because we just got done tearing this thing apart. You guys seen how that works. So, I'm not going to go step by step into that, but when we get to that, you know, obviously we'll take a look at the sealant, see what it looks like. And I guess it's a good opportunity for us to take an actual look into the engine at almost 400 miles, I think, of driving. You know, I guess since it's going to be opened up, we'll see how things look. But other than that, that's really all I'm going to do today. I'm hoping I'll be able to get through this in just a few hours, because I do have other things I got to do today, and I don't want this car to sit without it being put back together again. I'm not replacing any gaskets, so I was told, you know, because I did buy the metal gaskets, I just got to be careful, you know, double check the seals once the gasket is off, make sure I didn't tear anything upon taking all this stuff off. But I should be able to reuse the new intake gaskets. The upper plenum gaskets I know we can reuse. They don't really take that much abuse, so that'll be okay. I guess that's it. So let me show you guys what I've seen, and we'll go ahead and get started. Yep, still looks pretty good overall. I want to try not to get any of this stuff dirtied up. The nice thing is there's quite a bit that I don't have to take apart, or shouldn't have to. So I hope. You can see the splatter. See the belt line. And a little bit back there on the firewall, the dark spot around that circle. You can see up on the tower, little dots. See the residue there. Now I did clean it up a little bit, so it doesn't seem to be as apparent right now, but down past here, like back there, yeah, it's not focusing, but I noticed it down in here off of this bolt here and down in there. It actually doesn't look like it's as wet as it was. I mean, the AC compressor was covered in oil. You can kind of still see some of the residue like on the pulley. See, it looks like it's still a little wet back there. Underneath the exhaust manifold, there was just oil all over the block. On this side, you can still kind of see, it looks like it's still a little wet. Back here, it's not going to show you guys, but with a flashlight, there was like a puddle of oil sitting on the side of the block there. And as it sits here, there's some fresh spots from last night, and you can see the bottom here, it's still running down. So I'm pretty sure that's the problem, and if it's not, well, then I guess it will for sure have a recoating of RTV sealant. So I guess we'll just see what happens. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started on it, and I'll touch up with you guys in a little bit. Alright, so here we are about 2 hours later, and we're back to this. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess that what is it with the bees all the time? So, I don't know. I felt like I put enough on there. It looks like it. I mean, well, it does kind of thin out up here. That chunk right there came off with the intake itself. The rest of this looks pretty good though. See? So the gaskets look like they could be used again. Doesn't look like anything tore. Just I'll clean up the edges of them a little bit. Of course, we gotta scrape this off, scrape all this off. Try not to get any into the motor, but yeah, it looks like it thinned out right around here toward the end. Same thing on the other side. So I just must not have had it piled up high enough. We're gonna pile it up pretty good this time around. So that's what it looks like so far after, like I said, 400 miles. It still looks pretty good. Underside. Yep. Alright. Alright. Here we are, a few days later. I couldn't get the engine completely back together the other day because I had to get new valve cover gaskets. The old valve cover gaskets stretched out and they wouldn't fit. So we had to get new valve cover gaskets. So this morning, earlier, I refilled the cooling system and decided to give it a start, see how it was going to run. The one thing that I probably should have done was change the oil before I started it up. And my plan was to drive this to work today and just change the oil there. I did not think that much coolant was going to spill out of these heads into the block, and that wasn't until I had already started it up. Doesn't look too bad now, but needless to say, there is it's got coolant all throughout the oil again. There was a lot more than I was expecting. Hopefully it is not leaking. The intake gaskets are not leaking. Once again, everything's torqued down, everything is seated correctly. So far I don't see any new oil leaking out of the sides here. I mean, I dumped some water to try to flush some of the, especially the coolant. There's like coolant spillage from taking these hoses and stuff off, and there's still puddles of water and stuff sitting in there. I can't do anything about that, but it'll dry eventually. This is still wet from earlier. So yeah, we're gonna do another oil change, and we're gonna get that out of there, and hopefully, I know that stuff is kind of throughout the engine now, but it's been sitting long enough. Hopefully it kind of all traveled to the bottom. I have some other oil in the house I could just kind of pour through and maybe flush the crank out again. It is what it is. Yeah, I did not think there was going to be that much in there, but it turned all of this white, and the level didn't really go up, so I don't think it's an active leak. I also didn't really lose any coolant. This dipstick's bent up there, weird. So the level, I did check the level before I started it up today, and the level is pretty much right on the money, where I last had it, which was, around 5 quarts. And see there, that's probably about a 5 quart mark there. So I think it's just what fell into the block. I don't really think it's currently leaking. So let's crawl under and do this, because I'm not going to drive it to work with as much contaminant in there now. I don't want to take that chance. This engine's already been through enough. Yeah, so how about that? 2 oil changes in one video. I probably should have raised it up on the other side. I always forget that the drain plug is closer to the driver's side. This pan that I have out here already has some stuff in it, so the true color of the oil probably isn't going to, there's already stuff in there, so like other coolant. See if we can see a little bit of see if any water settled at the bottom, or if it's all just going to come out and come on. Yeah, maybe a little water. I was gonna change this oil out anyway, like I said. Oh yeah, you can see it's like pretty watery on the plug even. So yeah. Oh, it's just a shame. I didn't realize there was going to be that much in there. But it is what it is. Wow. So with this oil going in, we're probably going to see some leftover, of this for at least a time or two, I'm assuming. Almost looks like pure caramel from this angle. The color is actually lightening up, I think, so maybe all the watery stuff settled to the bottom, and maybe all that there is just mostly oil, I would assume. Could be wrong, but it is what it is. But at least it wasn't like like really bad milkshake looking, Obviously, if it wasn't taken care of, that's probably what it could have turned into. What I should do, I don't know if the car is tall enough, I might lower the jack a little bit and try to get the other side of that pan to empty. And maybe that'll kind of help it a little bit. Yeah, I might do that. That way all that comes out. That's looking pretty light. And then I'll go downstairs and I have some clean oil that I was saving for the Fusion. We'll just dump that through. It's 520, but it's not going to stay in there. I'm just going to use it to flush this out. But first, let me lower the jack down somewhat and maybe help empty that pan out a little bit more. Alright, just from lowering that, I hear more oil coming out, so that's good. So I'm going to go downstairs, get the other oil, we'll just flush through that, and then we'll go ahead and fill it up. Alright, so I've got about 2 quarts of clean oil that we're going to dump through here. It's really not worth it, you guys can't see. Oh well. Thumbs away. Yeah, shame I had to use all that good oil, but it's alright, I can get more. So it don't look too bad. Probably flushed everything out of that head too, that front head at least. Alright, it's starting to thin out. Alright, so we've got it to where it's literally just a series of drips now. It's not even a stream. So I'll let it sit there for a few more minutes like that. And we'll go ahead and fill it up. Oh, we gotta take the filter off too. Alright, let's see if we can get this off by hand, hopefully. Ah, man. You know, I never think I put them on that tight. Man, I'm wrong. It's coming. There it goes. Alright. Yeah, it really didn't look all that bad. Kind of surprising. Oh, I forgot. I don't have my other pan to put it on. Oh well. Today we're putting in Napa stuff. Not a sponsor. But so far, I think I've had Motorcraft oil. Obviously because that's where I work, so I can get Motorcraft oil for cheap. And that's what was going to go back in it today, but with me not buying it or taking this to do this at work, I figure I might as well just do it beforehand. There, that's probably good. I'm not gonna tighten it too much. Alright, so that's it. Got the plug in tight, filters on tight. Gotta get this stupid shield back in its place. Doesn't look too terrible. Like I said, there was already some coolant in here. Meh. I mean, it's cloudy. Alright. Alright. I'm putting all 5 in. See? Not cloudy. Cloudy. Not cloudy. The bottom of the heads are visible again. Alright. Here we go. Clean, clean. I'm sure there's going to be some left over, but hopefully it won't look as bad as it did. Oh. The change oil light did come on the last drive before I parked it. It looks like it's missing all of a sudden. That's weird, it wasn't doing that earlier. Oh, great. Well, now it's got a miss. Wait, it looks like it's smoothing out. No. Oh, that's weird. Come on. Yeah, she's still flashing. Oh, nice. Well, alright then. Well, the good thing. I don't really see anything bad in there so far. That's weird because it was running really good earlier. Really good. What happened? So the light's on steady now. It still sounds like it's missing, but my light's not blinking now. God, it's like the Aztec all over again. Yeah, it was running a lot better than this earlier. It wasn't skipping a beat. Now it's skipping for some reason. I don't have anything here to check it. Oh man, that is so disappointing. Vacuum, all the vacuums are in. All the wires are plugged in. New wires. Well, I guess that's gonna leave another vlog topic for the future. I don't get it. I'm gonna wrap it up for now though. So if you guys did enjoy this, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Also check out teespring.com/store/Mike's Vehicle Spotlight for all of your MVS vlog merchandise. That's it. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.